Chapter 1, Scum Girl Curse. Fang Jueyu, after our fight that day, I got drunk alone in the school park, and a friend carried me back and took care of me for the night. Nothing sordid happened, but his careful attention made me develop feelings for him. Later, he pursued me relentlessly, and yesterday we got together, so I'm someone with a boyfriend again. From now on, you should stop coming to find me. Fang Jueyu finished reading the text message, and a profound sense of desolation suddenly rose in his heart. Just because of a trivial matter, his girlfriend of 2 years had happily acquired a new boyfriend, almost seamlessly. "Heh heh heh, is that your explanation?" Fang Jueyu scoffed. For the first time, he felt like a woman was grinding his intelligence into the dirt. Would any man with a functioning brain believe such words? Fang Jueyu and his girlfriend, Jiang Yuan, were both juniors at Jiangnan University. They met at a school event and quickly developed feelings for each other, becoming an enviable couple. Not long ago, in a fit of anger over failing to secure tickets to a concert, Jiang Yuan had a massive tantrum. It was for a concert by top-tier singer Su Lun, whose concert tickets were known to sell out within 10 seconds, sometimes crashing the ticketing system. Jiang Yuan always had a fiery temper, but Fang Jueyu constantly indulged her. This time, however, she went too far, and in frustration, Fang Jueyu hid away to sulk. The next day, Jiang Yuan sent a text saying she wanted to break up. Fang Jueyu thought she was just being dramatic. He spent a long time trying to coax her, but he didn't even get to see her face. But unexpectedly, in less than a week, he received such a message. "Hey bros, come out and drink with me. Alcohol isn't a great thing, but it's the best way to soothe a troubled heart when you're feeling upset." Luckily, over these 2 years, he had made quite a few good friends. Although vacation was nearing, fortunately, everyone was still around and hadn't gone home yet. They found a nearby bar, ordered a huge selection of drinks, and with the help of alcohol, he blurted out everything on his mind. "Fang Jueyu, you, my man, are born with the physique of a scum girl magnet." A slightly pudgy guy pointed at him and said. This was Fu Jun, Fang Jueyu's high school classmate and now college companion, who had almost witnessed Fang Jueyu's entire romantic history. Fang Jueyu was of average height, with above-average looks, and his family was comfortably middle class. But the guy had learned to play the violin and piano since childhood. Theoretically, he shouldn't be short of girlfriends. But whether it was his bad luck or unique taste, he almost never liked a normal girl. The first time he took a fancy to a girl was in his first year of high school. They were together for only 2 days before the girl changed her mind, claiming she was afraid it would affect her studies. Ironically, Fang Jueyu was admitted to a top provincial university, while the girl only got into a third-tier one. Being dumped in 2 days became the biggest joke concerning Fang Jueyu. His deskmate Jiang Yi laughed at him for 3 whole years, even uttering a harsh line. "Fang Jueyu, don't be too sad. In the future, you'll encounter girls who will change their minds after 1 day and some after 3 days." It was like a magic spell. Jiang Yi's words came true one by one, and the reasons the girls gave for their change of heart were almost laughable. One of the girls agreed to be with him, but then her ex-boyfriend came back to reconcile the next day. Another one said Fang Jueyu was too nice, making their relationship boring. Fang Jueyu was utterly confounded at that time, even starting to doubt his existence. Could it be that in his past life he was a notorious philanderer who violated countless honorable women? And so, in this life, he had to deal with all these odd women as a sort of retribution. Until he met Jiang Yuan, he really thought he had found true love. Over these 2 years, he had given his all to Jiang Yuan, pampering her to the extreme, even becoming the envy of Jiang Yuan's roommates, the boyfriend from someone else's family. But confronted with this situation, he felt as if his whole world had collapsed. He even imagined a green glowing hat on his head, not particularly fancy, but it fit just right. "Old Fang, I feel like there's something I still need to tell you." Ding Minghui hesitated for a long time before deciding to break the news to him. "Just say it," Fang Jueyu replied. "At this point, what is there that can't be said?" He then took a few gulps of beer. "That guy who's with Jiang Yuan, I've heard of him. His name is Wang Xuan, a pretty famous second-generation rich kid from our school. His dad seems to be a high-level executive at Grain Ticketing Network," Ding Minghui explained. "2 weeks ago, I saw him dining with Jiang Yuan, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't dare to tell you." Grain ticketing, Fang Jueyu seemed to have realized something. "Ha, I get it now." Grain Ticketing was the country's largest ticketing center, with over 80% of concert tickets sold through this platform. For the son of a top executive like Wang Chuan, getting a few tickets to Su Lun's concert was a piece of cake. As for whether it was just for the concert tickets or to climb the social ladder with this rich and handsome guy, Fang Jueyu had no desire to find out anymore. Jueyu, there's no need to be too sad about such a woman. With your qualities, finding a good girl would be a piece of cake. Another friend, Cheng Kai, tried to lighten the mood with his common touch of humor. I heard there are plenty of beauties from our school's ranking of campus beauties who are single. Do you want to check them out? I've got the scoop. After drinking until past midnight, Fang Jueyu stumbled back into his dorm room and fell asleep, as if waking up would wash away all his troubles. The next day, a ringing cell phone woke him from his sleep. Eyes closed, he answered the call. Hello, who is this? I'm your mother. Fang Jueyu's mother's voice came from the other end of the line. You little rascal, when the hell are you coming home? The kid from the neighbor's house who's studying at Yanjing University has already returned. You're not far from home. Do you not want to come back or what? I'll come back. I will return this afternoon. In Fang Jueyu's mind emerged the beautiful face of his mother, Cao Lan, a woman who didn't look her age of 40 or 50, and not just because she was his mother. Because Cao Lan truly possessed an indescribable beauty. It was just her temper that didn't quite match her stunning appearance. Not just Cao Lan, his father, Fang Jueyu, also had the visage of a 20-year-old. It seemed as though time had never left any mark upon his parents' faces since he could remember. What was more strange was that his parents never used any skincare products. Even Cao Lan's vanity was only adorned with a few lipsticks. Come back as soon as possible. Your father and I have something to discuss with you tonight. Having said that, Cao Lan hung up the phone. Chapter 2. Am I a rich second generation? It was only an hour's train ride and a 10-minute taxi from school to home. Usually, Fang Jueyu would nap through the dull journey, but this time he was deep in thought. Cao Lan's words that morning had been strange. It seemed that in all his years, she had never spoken to him with such seriousness. Could there be some problem at home? But that didn't make sense. Apart from his parents, Fang Jueyu had no other relatives. He had never met his grandparents on either side since he could remember, and as far as he was concerned, they had likely passed away a long time ago. As for the family's financial issues, that had been a mystery troubling Fang Jueyu for 20 years. He had never seen his parents go to work, and he didn't even know what they did for a living. Though they weren't extremely wealthy, money had never been a concern at home, and Fang Jueyu had no idea where their money came from. He faintly felt that this time Cao Lan had called him back to reveal something that might answer the questions that had plagued him for years. Son, over here. As soon as he stepped out of the station, Fang Jueyu saw his father waving at him, but Fang Jueyu looked so young that if he told people they were brothers, no one would doubt it. Not only that, Fang Jueyu was even taller and more handsome than Fang Jueyu, which sometimes made Fang Jueyu wonder if his parents were some kind of immortal demons, but he had no evidence. Dad, did you buy a car? Fang Jueyu stared in surprise at the Porsche Cayenne beside Fang Jueyu. Although he wasn't very knowledgeable about cars, he knew that with additions, it would cost at least $1 million or so. When did their family have so much money? What's so strange about it? It's just an old beater. Fang Jueyu casually lifted Fang Jueyu's hefty luggage with one hand and tossed it into the trunk. Get in. Fang Jueyu climbed into the car, feeling as if everything was surreal. A Porsche called an old beater. Their home was in a very ordinary neighborhood. The house wasn't large, only about 80 or 90 square meters. It could not be more ordinary. But he suddenly felt that his family was far more complicated than he had imagined. When he got home, a rich aroma of dinner immediately burst forth, tantalizing Fang Jueyu's taste buds. Cao Lan had already prepared dinner waiting for their return. Wife, your cooking skills have improved, Fang Jueyu said playfully as he approached and kissed Cao Lan. The old couple was still so affectionate, which made Fang Jueyu, who was still reeling from shock, roll his eyes. Cao Lan's cooking was indeed marvelous, and Fang Jueyu devoured his food greedily. Compared to that, the envied meals in the school's popular cafeteria were nothing short of swill. Eat up, this might be the last time Dad and Mom eat with you. Cao Lan's gaze suddenly filled with reluctance as she looked at Fang Jueyu. The last time, Fang Jueyu paused, putting down his chopsticks. What do you mean? Well, Fang Jueyu cleared his throat. Son, you are 20 years old now and there are things we should tell you. Let's talk in the study. Cao Lan and Fang Jueyu headed to the study, with a puzzled Fang Jueyu following behind. The study was as tidy as usual, but the only difference was that there was a delicately crafted small box on the desk. "Son, there are things we have hidden from you for a long time. However, we wanted you to grow up like a normal child, so we didn't tell you many things," Fang Jueyu said. "But we plan to leave here, so before we go, you should know these things too." "You guys aren't going to tell me you're monsters, are you?" Fang Jueyu blurted out. "What nonsense are you talking, kid?" Fang Jueyu smacked Fang Jueyu on the head. "Your grandfather's news has recently disappeared. Your mom and I are planning to go to the last place they appeared to check it out. We're leaving first thing in the morning." "My grandfather," Fang Jueyu was stunned. "Isn't my grandfather already dead?" Smack! Another slap landed on his head. "Who told you your grandfather had died? He's just not on Earth anymore. We've been keeping in touch, but recently we haven't been able to sense any news from him, so your mom and I are a bit worried and are planning to find him." What, not on Earth?" Fang Juyu's head spun in confusion. "Were his parents on drugs? What nonsense were they spouting?" It might be difficult for you to accept," Cao Lan thought for a moment. "Let me put it this way, your dad and your grandparents, they aren't normal people." "How abnormal?" "Our lifespan extends to 1,000 years, we hardly age, and we have powers beyond your imagination." "Ha ha ha, Mom and Dad, have you been watching too many sci-fi movies?" Fang Juyu laughed heartily. "Today wasn't April Fool's Day." "Hey, silly child," Cao Lan shook his head. "No wonder, when your grandfather first told your dad about this, he nearly peed himself." "Shut up, give me some face in front of the child," Fang Jueyu muttered as he opened a box. Inside the box was something that looked like a syringe, filled with an unknown liquid. "This is an heirloom passed down from our ancestors for generations, for thousands of years. You just need to inject this into your body, and you'll understand everything. Oh, by the way, if you miss us, just boost your authority level quickly so you can contact us. And since I'm worried you might starve, smarty pants, I've already transferred all the wealth our family has accumulated over the generations into your name. You'll know all about it in time." "Wealth? How much wealth do you think our family has that I don't know about?" Fang Juyu pouted. "By the way, Dad, where did you get that car? It wasn't rented, was it?" "Get lost," Fang Juyu gave Fang Juyu a noogie. "I've deposited some money in this card for you. Spend it however you like. We can't finish spending our money anyway." Fang Juyu took the black bank card. The material felt slightly different, and its design seemed quite upscale. "With this card, you can enjoy VIP treatment at any major shopping mall across the country. Oh, and if you don't believe it, you can check how much money is in there," Fang Juyu said with a mysterious smile. "I've already linked the card to your phone." Curious, Fang Juyu entered the card number on his computer and initiated a balance inquiry. A text message quickly popped up on his phone, and a string of zeros made his head buzz. 8 zeros, a whole 100 million. This can't be real, right?" Fang Juyu's expression grew vacant. "Dad, Mom, how much money does our family actually have?" Fang Juyu and Cao Lan exchanged innocent gazes, then both showed helpless expressions. "We don't even know. Many enterprises have our shares, and the developers of this neighborhood are also part of our group. I guess there probably isn't anyone richer than us in this world, huh?" Chapter 3 Ancestral System. "There's probably no one richer than us in this world, right?" This statement exploded in Fang Juyu's mind like a bomb, and even reminded him of a famous quote by a well-known rich second-generation online. "I never look at whether my friends have money, because they definitely don't have as much as I do." In comparison, Fang Juyu and Cao Lan's words seemed to have an even stronger impact. What surprised him most was the fact that the developers of this neighborhood were actually owned by their family, something he had been unaware of until now. If this was true, then Fang Juyu driving a Porsche Cayenne to pick him up was actually an understatement. Not to mention anything else, the money in that black card alone was more than enough for an average person to spend extravagantly for a lifetime. All right, you're grown up enough to understand certain things. You definitely know what can be said and what can't unless you've reached a point like us where you can ignore the rules of this world. Then, you'll probably start getting tired of this kind of life too," Fang Juyu said in an aged tone. "If you ever get tired of Earth, just come find us and remember to bring your wife," Cao Lan chuckled. "We're still in a hurry to find your grandfather. After that, you have to take care of yourself and achieve the required clearance as soon as possible. By then, not to mention contacting us, even flying out of Earth to find us will be a minor issue." While Fang Juyu was still puzzled by their mention of flying out of Earth and clearance, Fang Juyu suddenly inserted a syringe into his arm. It felt like a mosquito bite, but soon after, a wave of dizziness washed over him, and he fell into a deep sleep. Wife, won't you miss our son? Fang Jueyu carried Fang Jueyu to the bed and gently covered him with the quilt, while Cao Lan's gaze never left him. He's the flesh that fell from my body, how could I not miss him? Cao Lan's eyes moistened slightly. But there's no other way. The situation with his grandparents might be even worse. Anyway, with that thing with him, Jueyu will surely thrive. In a couple of years at most, we should be able to get back in touch. It's good you think like that, Fang Jueyu said as he wiped away the tears on Cao Lan's face. Shall we leave now then? Yes. The couple walked out to the balcony, their bodies suddenly emitting a strange glow. This radiance enveloped their bodies, sacred and enchanting, almost like deities from the legends. Whoosh! The two transformed into a beam of golden light that shot up into the sky, disappearing into the pitch-black night. At that moment, Fang Jueyu found himself in a wondrous state, as though he had entered a world full of data. A personable voice echoed in his ears. The system is starting to check the host's condition. All physical states are normal, beginning to bind with the host. Binding complete, generating clearance. Following the command of the previous generation of hosts, unlocking all wealth. Generating clearance enhancement tasks. Beep beep beep. Generation complete, system host replacement finished. Whoosh! Fang Jueyu violently woke up from a dream. He felt as if he had dreamt that his parents had not only revealed to him that he was a rich second generation, but also that they possessed superpowers, and were even planning to leave Earth to seek his grandfather in the vast universe. Wait, why am I wearing clothes in bed? Where are my parents? He checked the time. It was already 10:30 a.m. Even on a holiday at home, Cao Lan would definitely wake him up by 9 o'clock. Host, no need to look further. The previous generation of hosts have already left Earth to find the 98th generation of hosts. A voice suddenly sounded in his head. You. Who are you? Come out. Where are you? Fang Jueyu leapt from the bed, but there was nothing in the entire house. I exist within your body, having fused with the host's body. Unless the host's clearance reaches the top level, possessing capabilities like several past generations of hosts, you could then use your own energy to separate me again from your body. Wait, are you the heirloom my parents were talking about? Fang Jueyu suddenly thought of something. Yes, you could say that. I have been serving the Fang family for thousands of years. With you, the host, it happens to be the 100th generation. Damn, Fang Jueyu didn't know what to say. Other people's heirlooms were precious antiques or the like, but his family was incredible to pass down a system. So what exactly are you? To put it simply, I am a multifunctional intelligence system with functions including management, investment, cultivation, inquiry, and more. However, your earliest ancestors had already accumulated enough wealth, so you might not need to use these functions now. What about cultivation? You're not going to tell me my parents practice some kind of cultivation technique, are you? This isn't some kind of fantasy world. Does that even exist? Of course, my cultivation system is quite unique. Your bodies all have strong potential. Just through some guidance methods, the capabilities you can possess are beyond your imagination. This will become clear to you once you unlock a certain level of clearance. Clearance, what is that? Fang Jueyu asked again. Of course, it's about using my functions. Right now you have only unlocked some basic functions. The 99th generation host worried you'd be too bored on Earth, so they set some tasks for you. Once you complete those tasks, your clearance will be enhanced. For example, once your clearance increases, you can start learning methods to guide human potential. If you become powerful enough, you can also leave Earth to search for the previous hosts. What tasks did my dad leave for me? Spend money, show off. The voice chuckled mischievously. The previous generation host really had some interesting ideas. Oh man, is that what my dad was like? But thinking about it, his parents never really seemed like proper parents. By the way, do you have a name? It's just a designation. The host can name me based on their preference. Alright, in that case I'll call you Zioye, Fang Jueyu casually remarked. Was it that fate felt bad for his past hardships and now gave him this system to change his destiny? Since his parents had left him this, wouldn't it be a waste not to use it properly? Yang Yuan left him because he wasn't wealthy or influential enough, right? With this ancestral wealth, such things should never happen to him again, right? Now I am going to initiate the first stage of clearance enhancement tasks. Host, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. The first task is to boost your renown. Let everyone know there's a super-rich individual like you. The system will automatically assess the completion. Once the task is finished, the first stage clearance will be unlocked, with a time limit of 1 year. Chapter 4 How to Spend Money. Boost the popularity. How do I do that? Does it involve spending money? Fang Jueyu worried about how to spend money for the first time. Although Fang Jueyu owned countless properties, he had never revealed a hint of them. Fang Jueyu had always lived a normal life. Being suddenly endowed with such wealth, he found himself at a loss on how to even begin spending it. Buy cars, buy houses. Ideas flashed through his mind, but he was just an ordinary college student who had never dealt with such matters. The hassle of obtaining certifications, queuing, and entering lotteries was enough to perplex anyone. Host, are you worried about how to spend money? Xiaoya's voice suddenly came into his mind as he felt puzzled and overwhelmed. Why don't you teach me? Xiaoya, surprisingly human-like, let out a sigh. Host, you should no longer judge yourself with your old mindset. You must break away from your previous identity. Here, let me help you with a beginner's task. Okay, give me some guidance. Fang Jueyu finally felt like he had grabbed a lifeline. Current phase task. Spend 10 million yuan on a live streaming platform. Task completion will reward you with doubled physical fitness and increase first-level permissions by 2%. 10 million. Fang Jueyu was speechless. The largest amount of money he had ever handled was his university tuition fee. He had never even dealt with 100,000 yuan, let alone 10 million, which constituted 10% of the funds on that bank card. Spending it on a live streaming platform seemed daunting. Host, don't worry, a mere 10 million is nothing. Saving up this amount is too easy. There, 10 million saved up, spend it without worries. What? Fang Jueyu was baffled. In the blink of an eye, he had earned 10 million. Host, you have no idea how many properties you own. It seems I need to give you some basic information. Xiaoya saw that Fang Jueyu was a good boy. Even with such sudden wealth, it would take time for his mindset to shift. So, for now, let's start by shocking him with money. What's your dream car? He was stumped by the question. Regarding cars, he could only recognize the logos and name the brands. As for the car's performance and model, he knew almost nothing. However, no matter how unsophisticated someone is, everyone has a dream car in their mind. Fang Jueyu was no exception. Even though he knew next to nothing about the car's mechanical workings, its cool design was unforgettable to him. Apollo's sun god, he said without hesitation. Oh, I didn't expect the host to be fond of this type of supercar. Xiaoya said, this car isn't too expensive among supercars, but indeed, it's not something money can just buy. However, that won't be a problem for you. What do you mean? You'll find out soon. 5 minutes later, Fang Jueyu's phone suddenly rang. It was an unfamiliar number, but Fang Jueyu still answered it. Hello, may I know who's speaking? Is this Mr. Fang Jueyu? A voice of a middle-aged man came from the other side. Yes, it's me. Hello, Mr. Fang. I am Zhou Ruixiang, the sales head for Apollo Supercars Asia division at Audi. We have received your order and have designed a unique custom supercar for you. We are now calling to confirm the handover work. Fang Jueyu was stunned. When had he placed an order? Was it Xiaoya's doing? But how had it managed that? The vehicle will be modified based on the Apollo Sun God, featuring bulletproofing, autopilot, intelligent control, and other functions. The modification is expected to be completed within a week, and the handover completed within 2 weeks. Do you have any suggestions or requirements? No, none. All right, the factory will handle your order immediately from now on, and I will contact you 2 weeks in advance to arrange for the car to be delivered to the location you specify. Okay, thank you. It's my pleasure to serve you. Xiaoyi, what's going on? Tell me. Fang Jueyu felt as though he was dreaming. He remembered that this level of supercar usually required custom orders and typically involved waiting times of 6 months to a year, and often orders had to be placed in a queue. Moreover, these top-tier supercars were limited in number. Even with money, they were not necessarily available, let alone having the modifications done and delivered within 2 weeks. That probably meant working around the clock for 2 weeks straight, didn't it? This implied many orders might be delayed. Surely, Fang Jueyu didn't have such clout. What's so strange about that? Xiaoya spoke in a tone that suggested nothing was amiss. You own 70% of the entire company and almost 90% of all the supercar manufacturing subsidiaries. Basically, you are the boss of the company. Who would dare to delay a car demanded by the boss? I'm the boss of Audi. It was your father who invested and acquired the shares 2 years ago. Not long ago, they were all transferred to your name. Holy shit, Fang Jueyu blurted out an expletive. You're not going to tell me I own shares in Ferrari, Rolls-Royce and the like, are you? Hee, you guessed right. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Pagani and many other supercar companies all have your shares. These assets are just a drop in the bucket compared to your total wealth. Does this give you a clearer picture of your property? My goodness. Fang Jueyu was utterly overwhelmed this time. If that was indeed the case, then a mere 10 million was nothing to him. Spend money. Since it can't be spent up, just splurge like there's no tomorrow. With this newfound understanding of just the tip of his wealth iceberg, Fang Jueyu seemed to have an epiphany and immediately turned on his computer. He usually watched streams, mostly of gaming competitions and occasionally some singing streams. However, as a poor student, he had never spent a penny on these platforms. His usual platform was called Bamboo Streaming, where he also had his account. He logged onto his old account, which only had a few hundred free bamboos and everything else was a straight zero. Let's top up a VIP first. If he wanted to boost his fame, this was the best way. He remembered that the highest VIP level was 10. Once a user's VIP level reached 10, it would be announced automatically across the system. However, reaching a VIP level 10 required a consumption of 5 million yuan. This is really kind of nerve-wracking. Spending so much money for the first time, Fang Jueyu's hands couldn't help but tremble. After a 10-minute mental struggle, he finally opened the top-up interface. Tremble because a super VIP is about to be born. Chapter 5. Spending lavishly. Congratulations to user Lin Shenjian Lu for reaching VIP level 10. Let's cheer for him. A scrolling marquee played 3 times on the page of every live streaming room. Holy shit, which tycoon leveled up their VIP again. Many users were seasoned members of the Bamboo Live streaming platform, and they were well aware of who the big spenders were. However, this ID, Lin Shenjian Lu, seemed to be seen for the first time to date. Soon, a bunch of bored people immediately started to investigate this newly advanced level 10 VIP god. But they found that, although this account had been registered 2 years ago, it had never made any real money purchases, at most giving away a few hundred free bamboo sticks. Damn, could this be someone misappropriating company funds to pose as a tycoon on the live streaming platform? Someone couldn't help but wonder. After all, there had been precedents for this kind of thing, and such nouveau rich users indeed couldn't help but arouse suspicion. At this moment, Fang Jueyu, who had just finished recharging, had just recovered from his trembling hands. He still couldn't believe that he had just charged a whopping 5 million into the live streaming platform. For many families, this might be more than a lifetime's earnings, and he had just lightly clicked and recharged it in. Host, this is just the first step. There will be many more opportunities to spend big bucks in the future. You'll get used to it gradually. I know, it's just that I'm used to being ordinary. It takes some time to adjust, right? Since it was a holiday and the holiday had just begun, it was the hottest time in the live streaming industry. Fang Jueyu habitually entered a gamer's live streaming room, one of his favorite hosts. Wow, overturned boat, do you guys know? This scoundrel ambushed me in the bushes for 2 minutes. A full 2 minutes, oh dear mother. Have you abandoned your jungle? The chubby host was cursing furiously on the live stream, while all sorts of bullet comments floated across the screen. 66,666, Teacher Park. What happened to the invincible universe tank you promised? How did it turn into a toy car? You got rolled over and didn't even notice. So good for a meal, I could eat another bowl. Teacher, quickly counterattack. That last kill was taken by their jungler, and with all your last hits, the gap in the economy shouldn't be too wide. Quickly show off your skills and fight back. The chubby guy was one of the hottest game hosts on the platform, a retired professional player known as Teacher Park, whose live stream style was very humorous and fun, making him very popular on the platform. He's already a dead body. Watch me solo kill him. Relying on his extremely skilled play, Teacher Park far outperformed his opponent in detail. Even though the jungler caught him once, he still spectacularly killed the opponent and managed to survive with less than 20 health points remaining. Beautiful. Teacher is so badass, I want to have your babies. 666,666. Teacher's skills are as great as ever. I told you, there's no way I couldn't solo kill him. Gank me. No way. Teacher Park barely had time to feel proud when suddenly, a missile flew from the enemy's bot lane, hitting him with precision and finishing him off. Gotta admit, Teacher Park was so angry that he jumped up, even smoking his cigarette backwards and flipping over along with his chair. Thanks for Jinx's rocket. I'm dying of laughter, someone save me, I need CPR. Classic moment. Which big shot will cut this into a meme and post it on B site tomorrow? Definitely getting my coins. Fang Jueyu in front of the screen also couldn't stop laughing at Teacher Park's hilarious contrast. After watching Teacher Park for so long, even though it was for a mission, he still had to spend on his favorite hosts. Lin Shenzhen Lu rewards the host Teacher Park with 99 pandas. Lin Shenzhen Lu rewards the host Teacher Park with 99 pandas. Lin Shenzhen Lu rewards the host Teacher Park with 99 pandas. 10 identical messages flash through the live stream page, turning the already bullet comment-filled room into something akin to a detonated bomb, immediately boiling over. Damn, what kind of move is this? Nearly 1,000 pandas donated all at once. That's 500,000 just thrown out like that. Tycoon, do you still need accessories on your thigh? I've seen this ID before. It's the big shot who just recharged to level 10 VIP. Tycoon, I want to have your babies. 6,666,666, worshipping the big shot. Teacher Park had just climbed up from his chair, and he too jumped at the screen full of gifts. His live stream room was not lacking tycoons, but he had truly never seen such lavish spending before. As a top host, 500,000 didn't matter much to him, but could someone who could just casually drop that amount of money in a live stream be an ordinary person? He was an old hand and never only saw the superficial stuff. Thanks to Lin Shenzhen Lu for the 990 pandas, I'll make you a moderator to have some fun, Teacher Park said, already thinking of making contact. Soon Fang Jueyu gained moderator permissions, and Teacher Park also sent him a private message. Bro, wanna add WeChat? Maybe we can play together sometime. Sure, Fang Jueyu immediately sent over his WeChat ID without hesitation. Teacher Park, I'll come to Magicopolis to have a meal with you sometime, off to check out other rooms. Deal, we'll contact through WeChat when we're both free. Lin Shenzhen Lu rewards the host Teacher Park with 99 pandas. Lin Shenzhen Lu rewards the host Teacher Park with 99 pandas. As Fang Jueyu left the room, he once again splashed out 990 pandas, unaware of the scene that unfolded in the room. Why is she live streaming so early today? Fang Jueyu opened his list of followers, and besides Teacher Park, there was another female caster's room that was active. Xinyu was a talent host, and Fang Jueyu's impression of her was as a girl who always liked to play the piano and sing songs after 10 p.m. Her voice was very clear and sweet. Although her live stream room wasn't very popular, she was very punctual every day. What made people more interested was that she never showed her face. Her singing was good, her piano playing was good, but perhaps because this was a world of faces, Xinyu did not have the popularity of those top female hosts. Today Xinyu was wearing a black dress, deeply immersed in playing and singing an English song. As usual, Fang Jueyu propped up his cheek and quietly listened to her song. So why? Why should we wait? And I should be waiting. Waiting for someone new. Even though it wasn't you. The lyrics suddenly reminded Fang Jueyu of many beautiful memories, and before he knew it, his eyes were slightly wet. Chapter 6 Xinyu. After finishing the song, Fang Jueyu was still reveling in his intoxication, while the live stream's chat had exploded into action. And it wasn't because of Xinyu's fans, but Fang Jueyu's arrival drew a huge crowd of onlookers. A level 10 VIP has some privileges, and every time they enter a live broadcast room, there would be a system notification. A lot of people wanted to see if this mysterious tycoon would continue to tip the host, so they swarmed in. Usually, Xinyu's room had only a few thousand people, never exceeding 20,000 followers, but due to Fang Jueyu's arrival, the number of people in the room suddenly exceeded 100,000 and was still rapidly increasing. So the tycoon likes this type of girl, huh? Hahaha, not even showing her face. Could it be Auntie Kaio? No, with my years of experience in appreciating women, this is definitely a great beauty. Although she's not showing her face, those hands, those legs, definitely belong to a beauty. This host actually sings really well, not to mention anything else, just because the boss likes it I followed. Waiting for the boss to give gifts. Waiting times 10,086. Xinyu, real name Gogh Xinyu, hadn't expected so many people to suddenly flood her live stream. Her family used to be well off, otherwise, she wouldn't have had the skill of playing the piano, which required a significant amount of money to cultivate. But later on, things went south with the family business, bringing a wealthy family to rock bottom, and they racked up quite a bit of debt. Now still in university, she earned her cost of living and tuition fees through live streaming. She knew the live streaming world was a mixed bag, so she chose this method of streaming, but without showing her face. Many people were not interested in watching her live streams, and consequently, her income wasn't very good. After deducting the live streaming platform's cut, the salary she could take home each month was only enough for living expenses, with just a little extra for tuition fees. She didn't pay much attention to the affairs of the live streaming world. She simply started her streams on time every day, played the piano, and sang songs. For a while, she had no clue why her live stream room suddenly had so many more people, all discussing someone called the boss. Lin Shen Jian Lu tipped the host Xinyu Panda times 99. It was a lavish gift, another whopping 990 pandas, and sitting in front of the piano, Gogh Xinyu suddenly covered her mouth in surprise, unable to speak. 990 pandas, with each costing 500 yuan, 990 was close to 500,000. Her small broadcast platform would take a 50% cut of the tips, but she would still be getting 250,000, a sum she might not even earn in 5 years of hosting. With this, not only were the expenses and tuition fees for her remaining 2 years of college covered, but she could also help alleviate some of her family's financial burdens. For a moment, she felt as though she had been struck by fortune's goddess herself. Why does this name sound so familiar? Gogh Xinyu had never heard of any the boss, but the ID Lin Shen Jian Lu seemed somewhat familiar to her. She had nearly 50,000 fans, but on average, only about 5,000 were watching the live streams each day. There were a few regulars she vaguely remembered. This Lin Shen Jian Lu seemed like someone who watched her live stream every day. Thank you for the tip, boss. Thank you so much. For a moment, Gogh Xinyu couldn't think of any other words of gratitude. Damn, the tycoon is at it again. Boss, I don't have money for food today. Please give me a meal. My account is XXXXXXXXX. Bold prediction, this host will definitely become famous. Coach, I want to learn the piano too. I want to learn to sing. Gogh Xinyu was still basking in the surprise when suddenly, a comment on the bullet screen almost made her lose her composure and want to cry out. Although I don't know what's happening around you, having watched your stream for so long, I don't think you're a very happy person. I hope my tips can help you a bit, and I also hope that your singing and piano playing can become happy a lot faster. 66,666. Boss Lu not only has money, but his flirting skills are top-notch too. This move gets full marks from me. Wow, if I were the streamer, I'd have fallen for him in minutes. Do I smell a sour scent of romance? Is it just my imagination? Upstairs, I smell it too. I have a feeling a story is about to unfold. I will, thank you. Gogh Xinyu nodded, though no one could see her. She wiped away her tears and tried to calm her emotions. Boss Lu, is there any song or piece you'd like to hear? I'd like to hear River Flows in You, if that's okay. This was Fang Jueyu's favorite piano piece without equal. He had listened to it many times in Xinyu's stream before. Her interpretation, both in terms of power and emotion, was absolutely perfect. Of course, Gogh Xinyu's slender fingers started caressing the piano. She had played this piece at least 1,000 times and could perform it from memory. As the piano sound filled the room, the entire stream fell silent. After the piece ended, Fang Jueyu didn't hesitate to strike again with a Panda X99 combo, causing another sensation in the stream. Boss Lu, please, donate some money to me. Is there a big shot who can reveal what Boss Lu actually does for a living? Couldn't he be some company's boss? He's inhumanely rich. I just came from Teacher Park's stream, and Boss Lu had already dropped 1 million in gifts there. He's doing another 1 million here. Is Boss Lu planning to slaughter the top donator leaderboard today? Sai, it turns out it's only 2 million spent after all this time. Spending this 10 million is really exhausting. Although Fang Jueyu had recharged 5 million, the system had given him 10,000 pandas, and just now, he had actually only spent 2,000 pandas, just 2 million. This 10 million mission was still a long and arduous one. Xinyu, I'll go check out other places and come back to listen to your singing tonight. Fang Jueyu typed in the public chat. Okay, still at 10 tonight, don't be a stranger. After exiting Xinyu's stream, Fang Jueyu resumed his great venture of channel surfing, whether for big streamers or small ones, as long as he was a bit interested. His minimum tip was 99 pandas. This game is played well. Deep Forest encounters the deer, rewards the streamer Jiangnan Gun King with Panda X99. Although the plastic surgery is a bit too much, the singing isn't bad. Deep Forest encounters the deer, rewards the streamer a little sheep with Panda X99. Holy crap, what is this ghost? A guy made up like this. Sorry for the disturbance. Hey, this isn't bad, the shooting skills are off the charts. Could it be hacks? How come I can't control the recoil? Fang Jueyu spent the entire afternoon on the streaming platform and finally completed his task of spending 10 million. He himself became a bit numb, but from then on, a legend emerged on the platform. A big spender named Deep Forest encounters the deer, known as Boss Lu, had spent a whopping 10 million in just 3 hours. He tipped without regard for popularity, only personal preference, and the viewer's verdict was just 4 words: rich, capricious. Chapter 7, The Steward. Jueyu, now that this mission is completed, I should get a reward, right? Fang Jueyu logged out of the streaming platform and immediately started demanding his prize. Phase mission completed. Level 1 authorization task completion increased by 2%. Total completion 2%. Extra reward. Physical condition doubled in strength. It felt like a surge of electricity passing through his body. Fang Jueyu felt every cell in his body bursting with a mysterious energy that made his muscles stronger and his bones more resilient. Even his mind became clearer. Awesome! He couldn't help but shout out from the sheer exhilaration that refreshed his soul. This state lasted a full 5 minutes. Fang Jueyu felt as if he had switched bodies. Perhaps reborn would be a more apt description. Host, your muscle strength, bone density, brain cell activity, and other bodily metrics have all doubled from their original values. This is real. His body was his own, and although he hadn't conducted any rigorous tests, Fang Jueyu could fully feel the difference. What was that warm thing just now? That was the excess energy released by your ancestors in the process of tapping into their own potential. The system absorbed that energy, so I could use it to help enhance your body, Xiaoyi explained. Is there more of this energy? Of course, there's energy accumulated over 99 generations, enough to turn you from an ordinary person into an almost omnipotent superhuman. Xiaoyi knew what Fang Jueyu was thinking, but your father instructed that this energy must not be excessively used, as it could have negative impacts on your future growth. My dad really thought it through. Fang Jueyu could understand it. After all, this kind of rapid enhancement only had short-term benefits. True strength would require higher levels of access. Wait, what is that smell? Suddenly, a nasty and nauseating odor hit his nostrils. That's the impurities from your body. While enhancing you, I also cleared those out. Perhaps you need to take a shower now. You should have said that earlier. Fang Jueyu stripped off all his clothes and ran towards the bathroom. There was quite a lot of these impurities. Fang Jueyu scrubbed for a long time to clean this grime, and even the floor was covered with a disgusting black liquid. He rinsed several more times before the odor completely dissipated. He wiped the fog from the mirror and looked at his reflection, suddenly feeling a bit of a stranger to himself. Fang Jueyu originally had average looks and a not-so-tall stature, even slightly skinny, but now he saw in the mirror a face with striking features, even resembling Fang Jueyu to a certain degree. His height had increased by almost 5 centimeters, now over 1.8 meters tall, and most astonishing of all, his once frail body now boasted clearly defined muscles. My God, am I dreaming? Fang Jueyu caressed his own body. If not for the familiar contours of his face, he would hardly believe it was really him. While strengthening the host, I also improved the host's genetics, explained Xiaoyi, which is why your appearance is now moving towards the most ideal human state. Did my parents go through the same process? Fang Jueyu finally understood why his parents, almost 50, still possessed enviable looks and figures. Your parents underwent official potential development, so genetically they're even more perfect. They won't age, and you can achieve the same. Right? You've been passed down from generation to generation in our Fang family. What about my mom? Can this method of potential development be taught to others? That is indeed possible, but there are some prerequisites. You'll find out later, Xiaoyi said. Oh, by the way, I contacted a butler for you. He's waiting outside. Would you like to meet him now? Butler? We have a butler. Fang Jueyu seemed to be surprised beyond numbness. It's the 98th host, that is, the host's grandfather had once helped a person. Their purpose is to help the Fang family manage part of the assets and to be at your service at any time. Has he arrived already? Yes, right at the door. Then I should go meet him. It seemed quite impolite to let someone wait at the doorstep like this. Fang Jueyu dried himself off and immediately walked toward the foyer. The door opened, and outside stood two people, one of whom appeared to be a 60-year-old elderly man, the other a girl about his age. The elderly man was dressed in a tang suit. Despite his age, he exuded an aura of long-term superiority, something Fang Jueyu had only ever perceived in business or political magnates. The girl was about 168 cm tall, and beautiful hardly sufficed to describe her. Particularly, her long, gracefully proportioned legs made Fang Jueyu steal more glances than he could help. It's uncanny, just uncanny. The moment the elderly man saw Fang Jueyu, he became so excited he was almost incoherent. You must be young Master Fang. What, young? Young Master Fang. Fang Jueyu found this title somewhat uncomfortable. It was an outdated way of addressing people in this era. Old sir, who might you be? Oh, it was impolite of me, young Master Fang. My name is Zhuang Hanzhong. This is my granddaughter Zhuang Ying. Part of your assets have always been managed by our Zhuang family. We received news just now that you have officially inherited all the Fang family's assets, so I came to explain these parts of your assets to you. The elderly man respectfully said. Oh, I see. Please come in, sir. It must be tiring standing like this. Fang Jueyu stepped aside and welcomed them in. It looks like young master isn't too difficult to get along with. The girl named Zhuang Ying had been nervous about whether Fang Jueyu would be difficult, but it seemed he was approachable. Please sit, sir. I only learned yesterday that our family has so many assets. You probably need to explain everything to me carefully. Young Master Fang, just call me Old Zhuang, or you can call me Uncle Zhuang if you don't mind. During their conversation, Fang Jueyu learned that Zhuang Hanzhong had received kindness from his grandfather, Fang Su, when he was young, and had since then diligently managed the part of the estate entrusted to him by Fang Su. I'm getting old and sometimes find it hard to keep up. I have left these industries to my son to manage, but you might need an assistant by your side. I think my granddaughter Zhuang Ying could help you. What? An assistant? But I'm just a college student, not some company CEO. Why would I need an assistant? Fang Jueyu repeatedly waved his hands, unease showing on his face at the thought of such a beautiful girl following him around. Ha ha ha, Zhuang Hanzhong laughed. Young Master Fang, even if you don't have work-related matters to handle, you can't possibly handle all financial transactions personally, can you? As if marketing his own granddaughter. Don't underestimate Ying because she's young. She has already completed her master's in economics and management at Oxford. In the future, you can entrust these matters to her. That does sound good, Fang Jueyu nodded. He knew practically nothing about his own wealth. If he ran out of money, he genuinely wouldn't know where to access funds, and who knew what the next financially taxing task given by Ivy would be. The remaining 90 million seemed like a lot, but it would not last long. Well then, Fang Jueyu extended a hand toward Zhuang Ying. I'll have to trouble you with these matters from now on. Chapter 8 Personal Assistant. After discussing some matters with Zhuang Ying, Zhuang Hanzhong left first, and Fang Jueyu stood on the balcony. Only then did he notice that the car Zhuang Hanzhong had arrived in was a Rolls-Royce Phantom, the gleaming golden statuette nearly blinding him. The price of the car must have been in the tens of millions, and it seemed to have a personal driver, coupled with his refined demeanor. Evidently, Zhuang Hanzhong was a man of considerable wealth. Was such a person really just helping his grandfather manage a portion of the family's assets? Young master, I will address you like this from now on. After interacting for a while, Zhuang Ying had got to know Fang Jueyu's personality a bit, and this title was intended to tease him. You are a bit older than me. How about I call you little Ying sister from now on? This title made Fang Jueyu somewhat embarrassed, his face even turning a bit red. A man and a woman alone in a room, the atmosphere suddenly grew a bit awkward. However, Zhuang Ying was the first to break the silence. Young master, do you want to change your residence first? This place is really a bit, small. Although she only helped manage a portion of the Fang family's wealth, her father, Zhuang Hanzhong, had been stubbornly given some shares and dividends by Fang Su. Just those shares had made the Zhuang family a considerably large clan. Even the place where Fang Ying lived was a villa with an area over 500 square meters. Although she didn't know exactly how wealthy Fang Jueyu was, she had heard from her grandfather that the assets he managed were just a drop in the ocean, and even he didn't know how much wealth the Fang family truly had. But one thing he could be sure of, if the Fang family was willing, they could collapse the global economy in an instant. Wealth accumulated over thousands of years was beyond anyone's imagination. Change residences. Yes, you have properties in almost all cities under your name. Where would you prefer to reside? I can arrange it as soon as possible. Fang Juyu's mouth twitched. Properties in all cities, even Huaxia's richest person might not manage such a feat. He found he was becoming more and more unfamiliar with himself. After contemplating for a moment, his parents had gone to find his grandfather, and there wasn't much in this city to hold him back. Since he was studying at Jiangnan University, he might as well move to Jiangnan City. Let's go to Jiangnan City then, preferably somewhere close to Jiangnan University, said Fang Juyu. Please hold on for a moment. Zhuang Ying took out a tablet from her bag. Many things couldn't be remembered by mind alone. Zhuang Ying inputted something on the tablet, and a whole page of index results popped up instantly. Fang Juyu glanced at it. They all seemed to be names of residential districts. I found it. There is a place called Jiangnan Villas about 3.5 kilometers from Jiangnan University. You have a detached villa there. Perhaps it would suit you better. What's it like? Tell me more about it. This villa was designed by a European designer, with a total construction area of 1,600 square meters. It comes with its own swimming pool, a garden, and a small parking lot, and the whole villa is situated in the middle of an artificial lake. Its current value is approximately 280 million RMB. Drinking water, Fang Juyu almost choked himself. A house worth 280 million RMB, wasn't that almost 180,000 per square meter? That's literally as costly as gold. If you want to go, I can arrange it for you right now. Fang Juyu's reaction pleased Zhuang Ying. She liked his inexperienced demeanor. Dealing with this young master who didn't realize how wealthy he was seemed like an interesting affair. Go, of course, why not go? Fang Juyu had just returned home yesterday, and he hadn't unpacked yet. He could just grab his suitcase and leave. But this place he had lived for 20 years suddenly felt empty, leaving a bittersweet feeling in his heart. His parents had left abruptly, seemingly carefree, and suddenly he felt like an orphan. Little Ying's sister, this place. I understand what you mean, young master, said Zhuang Ying, piercing right through his thoughts. I'll arrange for someone to clean this place regularly. If you ever want to come back and visit, you can come anytime. Thank you, Fang Juyu sincerely expressed his gratitude. You're welcome. Serving the young master is my honor. Shall we depart now? Yes, let's go. Fang Juyu took a family photo of three, then walked out of the building. Young master, are you going to drive this kind of car? When Zhuang Ying saw the Porsche Cayenne parked downstairs, she was momentarily stunned. A car of this caliber seemed too undignified for Fang Juyu's status. Is there a problem? Fang Juyu looked at Zhuang Ying's expression, feeling like he was being looked down upon. How about I arrange a car for you instead, also with a driver to make your daily commute easier? No need, I don't want to be running around with a driver every day. People might think I'm some nouveau rich second-generation wealthy. Zhuang Ying glanced at Fang Juyu. He wasn't really the rich second-generation type. If she had to find an adjective to describe him, perhaps aristocratic scion would be more appropriate. I have already ordered a custom sports car for myself. It should be delivered in 2 weeks. From then on, I'll drive myself. There's no need for a driver. Since the summer after finishing his college entrance exams, Fang Juyu had his driver's license, and having not driven for so long, the Cayenne was perfect for him to practice. That's good, but young master, is your driving safe? Zhuang Ying hesitated whether she should get into Fang Juyu's car. Don't worry, I may be young, but I'm an experienced driver, Fang Juyu casually said, although he had only driven 3 times from getting his license to now. But having just undergone physical enhancement, his reaction capabilities and coordination had greatly improved. He could handle racing, let alone just driving on roads. Fine then, it will take about 2 hours from here to Jiangnan Villas in Jiangnan City. If you get tired, I can take over driving. Zhuang Ying sat in the passenger seat, ready for a rest. You sure trust me a lot. Fang Juyu skillfully started the car, slowly driving out of the parking space in the garage. My grandfather and his family owe their lives to your grandfather. If it wasn't for your grandfather, I might not even be here. Even if I die, it would just mean giving back the life you gave us. Is it that serious? Fang Jueyu muttered, wondering what exactly his grandfather did that made this family so utterly devoted to him. From today on, my life is going to be completely different. Fang Jueyu looked up at the sky, feeling that starting from today, every day would be full of surprises. Chapter 9 Villa Number 1. By the time he had reached Jiangnan City, it was almost 8 o'clock. Although it was still July, the sky was gradually darkening, and a very familiar group of buildings appeared before him. As a student of Jiangnan University, Fang Jueyu had naturally heard of this Jiangnan Villa estate, which sold only high-end villas. Just this fact alone deterred countless people. Living here was already a symbol of status and identity. His roommates had told him that even the cheapest villas in this place cost 80,000 per square meter, with the smallest villas being 200 square meters. That meant the cheapest villa was priced at over 16 million. Such a price was something Fang Jueyu had never even dared to dream of. How many people struggle their entire lives without earning that much money? Yet now, he had unexpectedly become the owner of the most central villa in Jiangnan Villa Estate. The original sales center had been converted into a service center. With such high property fees charged every year, the high-end services provided here naturally matched those costs. Master Fang, the deed to the other property has already been transferred to your name, and the keys are at the service center, Zhuang Ying said with a smile. We just had someone clean it recently, so you can move in immediately. And the decoration. Master Fang, do you really not know? These high-end villas come fully furnished, Zhuang Ying laughed. But yours is quite different. Your villa was designed by an artist and a master architect together. It's bound to leave you completely satisfied. The two walked side by side into the service center, which could be more aptly described as a high-end cafe. Any owner here could enjoy free services. At reception stood a very pretty young girl, indicating the establishment took their facade very seriously. However, compared to Zhuang Ying beside him, the girl paled in comparison. Hello, I am Zhang Wenting from the Jiangnan Villa Estate Service Center. You can call me Zioen. How may I assist you today? The girl named Zioen said with a professional smile. Hello, I am Mr. Fang Jueyu's personal assistant. We are here to take possession of his villa at number 1. Number 1 Villa. Zhang Wenting looked suddenly pale, as this number 1 villa had never been occupied since it was sold years ago. Their supervisors had instructed them that if anyone came to take the villa, they were to be informed immediately and offered the best service, regardless of the time. Offending this individual, let alone causing the slightest dissatisfaction, meant packing up and leaving right away. This point had been stressed to everyone working here countless times, as it was a villa community for the wealthy. The number 1 villa was priced at over 200 million, and that was someone they certainly couldn't afford to provoke. Just 2 hours ago, the manager had called, saying that the owner of the number 1 villa planned to move in tonight and insisted that they provide the best hospitality, with no dissatisfaction from the guest, and the paperwork should be processed at top speed. Zhang Wenting immediately put on a sweet smile. Miss, I'm sorry, we just need to process some paperwork. Could you please show the homeowner's ID and the deed to the property? Her gaze swept over Zhuang Ying and Fang Jueyu. She recognized the identity of the beauty. She had just introduced herself as Mr. Fang Jueyu's assistant. Could this young man be the owner of the number 1 villa? But she immediately shook her head. Fang Jueyu was just too young. Such an expensive villa, even a rich second generation might not be willing to buy it, right? Presumably, the owner must be a wealthy man nearing middle age or even older. Not only that, working here over time had given Zioen eyes of golden flame. She could tell the quality of the clothing on Fang Jueyu's body at a glance. Someone of his financial standing was unlikely to afford an ordinary villa, let alone the number 1 villa. Must be that assistant lady's little brother or something, she guessed silently in her heart. Oh, I think the property deed might have been delivered already, right? Please wait a moment, I will verify that. Zhang Wenting immediately made a phone call to inquire, and sure enough, someone had delivered the property deed to this place an hour and a half ago. However, it was delivered by courier, so naturally, they did not dare to open the owner's express package casually. Soon, another employee brought the parcel over. This package belongs to Mr. Fang Jueyu. We need to see his related documents before we can hand over these files to you. Young master, your ID card. Zhuang Ying certainly did not have the clout to keep Fang Jueyu's identity card. Oh, right here with me. Fang Jueyu quickly took out his ID card from his bag. Young master, the faces of the girls at the front desk suddenly changed. They had just ruled out the possibility that this young man could be the owner of Villa Number 1. Were they about to be proven wrong so soon? Fang Jueyu handed over his ID card, and indeed, although there was some difference between the photo on the card and the person in front of them, certain features made it clear that he was indeed the young man standing before them, which meant he actually was the owner of Villa Number 1. Please have a seat for a moment. We will immediately handle all the formalities for you. It should take about 15 minutes. Zhang Wenting suddenly put on a charming smile and even shot a few suggestive glances his way. Which girl working here wouldn't want to find a boyfriend who was young, wealthy, and handsome? Fang Jueyu was the perfect match for all three qualities. If one of them could catch his eye, wouldn't that be like a phoenix rising to the treetops? Young master, I guarantee that any one of them would be willing to warm your bed at your villa tonight if you wish, Zhuang Ying teased. What do you say? Shall I arrange it for you? Although Fang Jueyu had been in a relationship with Jiang Yuan for 2 years, he was still a typical young boy at heart and blushed at such teasing. Zhuang Ying, don't talk nonsense. I'm not that kind of person. Ha 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 ha. Zhuang Ying couldn't explain why, but she was particularly happy to see Fang Jueyu embarrassed. Young master, you can't be like this. With your status and wealth, you'll probably meet countless excellent girls in the future. You should start changing your mindset sooner rather than later, or you'll suffer later on. Miss Zhuang, Mr. Fang, here are your coffees. A young girl carefully set down the coffees in front of them. My name is Zhou Kingsu. If you need anything else, please feel free to call me. Our manager will be here in a moment. Since Villa Number 1 is highly valuable, the keys have always been kept with him. When the girl bent down, she intentionally or unintentionally exposed a large expanse of her snow-white chest right in front of Fang Jueyu. Got it, thank you, Fang Jueyu said, feigning composure. See, what did I tell you? You didn't believe me. Zhuang Ying had noticed that moment and then pulled out a small slip of paper from beneath Fang Jueyu's blanket, on which was written a string of phone numbers. How about it? That girl's looks and figure are not bad. She's barely qualified to accompany the young master. If you're shy, I can arrange it for you. Zhuang Ying seemed determined to tease Fang Jueyu to the end. Putting up with such teasing was not a solution, so Fang Jueyu immediately retorted fiercely. If someone's going to keep me company, then you come yourself. With those words, Zhuang Ying, who had wanted to continue the joke, suddenly turned red with embarrassment, and the words she had been about to say were forcefully stifled. Ha 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 ha! Finally scoring a point, Fang Jueyu laughed heartily like a winner. Chapter 10. Chapter 10, Poverty Limits Imagination. Is this Mr. Fang Jueyu? 5 minutes later, a somewhat corpulent middle-aged man hurried over, dusty and disheveled from rushing back from a business trip as soon as he had received a phone call. Hello, I am Fang Jueyu. Fang Jueyu extended a hand in a symbolic handshake. Mr. Fang is truly talented and successful at such a young age, owning such an impressive fortune. The manager started with a loud flattery. I am Wang Zhihai, the manager of Jiangnan Villas, currently in charge of all the logistics and property management here. If you have any issues in the future, you can directly contact me. Then I'll leave it to Manager Wang. Naturally, Fang Jueyu wouldn't divulge his own number. That was definitely something Zhuang Ying would handle. Manager Wang, can we go see the villa now? Mr. Fang has rushed over and is quite tired. He needs to rest. Zhuang Ying stated in her role as the assistant, knowing that if they continued with these pleasantries, they would never know when they would actually settle in. Wang Zhi instantly became much more alert. He seemed to have overestimated himself. Although Mr. Fang appeared approachable, this assistant seemed quite formidable. It seemed they just wanted to quickly settle in, with no interest in making idle chat with a minor manager like him. Of course, I've already brought the keys. We can go right away. Wang Zhihai naturally didn't dare show any displeasure. Please take my car. It's a short distance to the number 1 villa. No need, we've driven here ourselves. Just lead the way, Zhuang Ying said coldly. All right, please follow me then. Wang Zhihai suddenly seemed somewhat crestfallen. As the manager of such a property, Wang Zhihai's service vehicle was naturally not low-end, as it would be too diminishing to transport some esteemed guests in anything less. His ride was a Maybach worth upwards of 3 million. When he saw Fang Jueyu's Porsche, he was quite surprised. Such a person of value driving this car appeared somewhat understated. Fang Jueyu, of course, was not aware of Wang Zhihai's thoughts. In his heart, this car was already considered a luxury vehicle. Perhaps he was still not very familiar with the world of the wealthy. The two cars drove one after the other into the complex, which centered around a huge artificial lake, and the number one villa was situated right in the middle of this lake, also at the center of this cluster of villas, much like the moon surrounded by stars. There was only one specially constructed road leading to the number one villa, and a security guard was specifically stationed to ensure the homeowner's absolute safety. Although mentally prepared, when Fang Jueyu saw the villa, he couldn't help but gasp. Perhaps it wouldn't be an exaggeration to describe it as a palace. The villa had 4 floors in total. The bottom floor was a garage, and on top was an open-air garden, surrounded by a suspended circular swimming pool, a bold and innovative design. The shape of the entire villa was not simply square, but rather resembled a misaligned Rubik's Cube, giving it a distinctly sci-fi feel. "Young master, are you satisfied?" Seeing Fang Jueyu's expression, Zhuang Ying already knew he was extremely pleased with the villa. Satisfied? Of course satisfied. Fang Jueyu was now eager to go inside and take a look. "Then I won't disturb you two any longer." Wang Ji handed over the keys to the villa and tactfully left. "Thank you, Manager Wang." Fang Jueyu expressed his gratitude. "Young master, why do you seem a bit cold towards Manager Wang?" Fang Jueyu had wanted to ask this in the car. "Master, you must understand. Many people seek to interact with you and get close to you because of your wealth. I don't mean to be prejudiced against some people's status, but I saw obsequiousness and greed in Manager Wang's eyes. Such people are not worth making connections with." "Aha," Fang Jueyu nodded, seemingly grasping something suddenly. Let's have a look inside first," Zhuang Ying said mysteriously. "I've had someone redecorate this villa, though it was a bit rushed, but I think you will like it." Filled with anticipation, Fang Jueyu walked into the villa, hesitant to even step on the luxurious floor tiles beneath his feet. "These tiles are custom-made, with a layer of artificial crystal added to the surface," Zhuang Ying explained. "Each tile is 40 cm by 40 cm, and each costs about 5,000 yuan. 5,000 yuan per tile. Fang Jueyu almost went mad. Wouldn't that be over 30,000 per square meter? Isn't that the price level of downtown real estate? At the entrance stood 2 1-meter-tall blue and white porcelain vases, the plants in them still fresh, indicating that the person who cleaned the house was quite meticulous. These two are Song Dynasty blue and white porcelain vases, a very rare pair, probably handed down from your ancestors. The current price could reach over 12 million, Zhuang Ying added, each. Hiss, Fang Jueyu gasped again, to place antiques at the front door, just how wealthy do you have to be? However, he didn't doubt Zhuang Ying's words. His ancestors had acquired the Zhao intelligence system quite early on. At that time, they were probably quite affluent, so perhaps these two vases were just ordinary objects to them, passed down from generation to generation. Accumulating a large batch wasn't something strange. Wait, Sister Ying, you're not going to tell me that all the decorations in this villa are antiques, are you? Of course, the villa also has a study, inside of which there are many original works by famous people like Tang Yin, Wang Zizhai, Zheng Benqiao, and others, not just one or two of each, of course. There are also works by foreign celebrities. Are you sure they're all authentic? Fang Jueyu double-checked. Zhuang Ying nodded seriously. Fang Jueyu pointed to a huge oil painting on the wall and said, "Then what is this thing? Don't assume I'm uneducable, but I recognize Van Gogh's Starry Night, which should be housed in the Museum of Modern Art in New York, right?" "Heh heh heh, do you want to see what's written on the back of this painting?" Zhuang Ying laughed mysteriously again. Fang Jueyu, baffled, walked over, took the painting off the wall, but upon closer inspection, it was noticeably different from those in art textbooks. He saw several lines of text he didn't understand on the back. "What's this? It's not English, is it?" Fang Jueyu asked, slightly embarrassed. "This is Dutch," translated it means. "Thanking my Huaxia friend Fang Kun for his assistance during my most destitute times, I've made a special version of Starry Night and gifted half of it to him as a token of my gratitude. Van Gogh." Fang Kun, not another ancestor of mine. Fang Jueyu was already feeling numb. At that moment, he heard Zhao Yi's voice in his ear. Yes, host. Fang Kun was the system's 91st host. At the time, Van Gogh encountered him on his global travels when he was most destitute, and he provided him with funds to study painting and traveling, so Van Gogh gifted him this painting after mastering his skills. "May I ask how much would this painting sell for?" Fang Jueyu timidly inquired. "If it were the authentic piece in New York, it would be about $400 million, and of course, it's a priceless treasure. No one would sell it even if offered money. As for your painting, given the inscription by Mr. Van Gogh and the historical significance it represents, it's worth at least $600 million. Heh 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 heh. Fang Jueyu was utterly dumbfounded this time, and he finally understood one thing: poverty truly limits the imagination. Chapter 11. Chapter 11: Chopin's Piano and Paganini's Violin. Zhuang Ying, my heart can't take much more of this. The price of the villa alone at 2.8 billion had already stunned him, but what he hadn't expected was that any random painting on the wall was worth 4 billion, and in US dollars at that. That was enough to buy 10 such villas. These are just some casual decorations in the living room. Actually, when Fang Jueyu had transferred these assets to Fang Jueyu, Zhuang Ying had already known about it. She had guessed that Fang Jueyu would choose this villa as his residence. These items had been arranged a month ago. Honestly, when she first saw these items, she was quite frightened, but as she started handling more and more assets, she gradually became numb to it. Fang Jueyu entered the living room. The living room was vast, with a piece of unknown wild animal fur carpeting the floor. Those coffee tables, real leather sofas were probably also very valuable, and not only that, but there was also a magnificent grand piano on the side. Fang Jueyu had learned piano and violin since he was a child, forced by his parents at first until he had grown to love them completely. No matter where he was, whenever there was a piano, he couldn't resist playing a tune. Fang Jueyu walked up to the piano. This piano was a yellow-brown color, covered with densely packed marks of time. From the text on the piano, Fang Jueyu recognized the name of this piano player. Ding! The crisp sound still carried an ancient air, and from his experience, Fang Jueyu could tell that this piano must also be an antique, probably decades old. Suddenly, he found a line of characters on the side of the piano, and they were Chinese characters. Although the handwriting was somewhat aged, Fang Jueyu could still make them out. To my musician friend, Friedrich Francois Chopin. You're not going to tell me this is Chopin's piano, are you? Fang Jueyu's voice trembled, and he even involuntarily pulled his hand away from the keys, fearing he might accidentally damage it. Yes, this Pleyel piano is over 180 years old. It was also Chopin's favorite, as it was a gift from one of his friends from Huaxia. You're not going to tell me that this Huaxia friend was also my ancestor, are you? Although he had a hunch, Fang Jueyu couldn't help but ask. What do you think? Zhuang Ying threw him a coquettish look. Oh, and there's this. Zhuang Ying took a box from the nearby cabinet, which contained a light brown violin. You might as well tell me who used this violin so I'm prepared. Fang Jueyu took a deep breath and adopted an indifferent attitude. This violin is the Il Canon made by Guarneri in 1743, later known as the Canon. Is it the one Paganini used? Although he was mentally prepared, Fang Jueyu still shuddered. As the most famous violin master, Paganini's status was unshakable, and for many violinists, getting a chance to play his violin would be a lifetime's honor. He had just never thought that this violin, like Chopin's piano, would become part of his own collection. This violin wasn't gifted by one of my ancestors, was it? Fang Jueyu remembered that the violin was a gift from a wealthy merchant who had attended a Paperini concert, and that merchant wasn't from Huaxia. Not really, but the museum that later acquired this violin was yours. Mr. Fang Jueyu directly purchased it 17 years ago. 17 years ago, I had only just started learning the violin then. My dad really went all out, didn't he? Fang Jueyu felt completely overwhelmed. Right, there are also two famous violins here, previously used by masters Kreisler and Heifetz. They are all excellently preserved, and we even found descendants of the original makers to repair them, ensuring they have the best sound quality. You can try them out. Fang Jueyu couldn't wait any longer. He set up Paganini's violin and immediately played a Paganini caprice. Although it had a history of over 200 years, the moment its sound emerged, Fang Jueyu felt as if his soul had been elevated. With his decades of skills, although he couldn't compare to those masters, he played the piece exceedingly well, and Zhuang Ying even felt as if Paganini himself was playing before her. When the piece ended, Fang Jueyu's hands were slightly trembling. He carefully placed the violin back in its case, not because it was exceedingly valuable, but because damaging it by accident would be a desecration of art. Would you like to check out the study? There are plenty more treasures there, Zhuang Ying smiled. There are many famous calligraphies and unique ancient books housed there. Maybe another time I'll just look by myself later. I'm afraid I might faint. Fang Jueyu already felt a bit lightheaded, Sister Ying, it's almost 9 o'clock. Where will you be staying tonight? Oh, don't worry, when I bought this villa, I bought the 20 nearest villas around it as well. I can just pick any empty one to stay in, and if you need anything, you can find me anytime. Multiple lines of confusion appeared on Fang Juyu's forehead. Those are mine too. Yes, those 20 medium-priced villas are yours too, although most of them are already occupied. There are 3 still vacant. If you need them for anything, just let me know. Wait, what do you mean most of them are already occupied? Are they rented out? No, those houses are occupied by a service team always ready to assist you. They include cleaning staff, chefs, drivers, medical personnel, and so on, about 200 people in total. Cough, cough, cough. Fang Jueyu felt like he had taken an internal blow. By the way, if you're feeling hungry, you can ask the chefs to cook. Their numbers are all listed in the villa's phone directory. They can prepare various cuisines, Western desserts, and Japanese dishes, anything you'd like to eat. Our chefs are the best. All right, I got it. Fang Jueyu felt if he continued talking to Zhuang Ying, he might hear even more unbelievable things. I'll be leaving then. You should rest early. Someone will bring you breakfast tomorrow. I'll be living here long-term starting today, so if there's anything you need to arrange, just contact me directly. After saying this, Zhuang Ying left the villa. Phew, Fang Jueyu felt as if he had collapsed onto the sofa, completely drained. He had never felt more shocked in his life than he did today. Slap, he fiercely slapped himself, doubling the force unintentionally and leaving a red handprint on his face. Ouch. It seems I'm not dreaming after all. Chapter 12. Chapter 12, The Most Exaggerated Seafood Noodles. I've been busy all day, and I'm actually a bit hungry. Lying on the couch, almost falling asleep, Fang Jueyu suddenly heard his own stomach growling. Only then did he remember that an entire day had passed without him eating anything. There was a smartphone on the living room tea table, which seemed quite high-end. After some effort, Fang Jueyu finally managed to find the number for his head chef, who was responsible for his daily meals, and gave him a call. Mr. Fang, hello, how may I serve you? I'm a bit hungry, could you please make me something to eat? He asked, feeling a bit embarrassed. No trouble at all, serving Mr. Fang is our job. The head chef chuckled on the other end of the line. You should know, these chefs were taking home a salary of 100,000 a month, yet their work was incredibly easy. Each chef had their own specialties, so they were idle most of the time. With such high salaries for such low-intensity work, providing dedicated service to Fang Jueyu was naturally their sole goal. Mr. Fang, what would you like to eat? Anything you desire, we can make it for you. That confident, huh? What if I said I wanted to eat whale meat? Fang Jueyu said casually, not really trying to stump the head chef. Then, Mr. Fang, how would you like it prepared? Wait, you can actually get that, Fang Jueyu thought. Even if they were wealthy enough to buy whale meat, it surely couldn't be prepared on short notice. Mr. Fang, your 10 private jets go around the world every week to purchase goods, ensuring that your meals use the freshest, highest-grade ingredients. Just yesterday, we put a new piece of whale meat in the cold storage. If you wish to eat it, I can immediately arrange for someone to prepare it. Give me a break, Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes. With money, you really could do whatever you wanted. 10 private planes used as grocery delivery jets, could there be anything more extravagant? Heh, I was just kidding. I'll just have a bowl of noodles. Eating too much at night isn't good, and noodles are easy to digest, Fang Jueyu said with an awkward laugh, not daring to question what else they might offer. Who knows, if he asked for dinosaur meat, they might tell him they have a cloning factory that has already cloned dinosaurs, and then ask him how he'd like it cooked. Don't go overboard, just throw in some seafood and greens. Understood, Mr. Fang. We will have someone deliver it to you within 20 minutes. Fang Jueyu quickly hung up the phone. Was life with money always this terrifying? Sweaty from a busy day, Fang Jueyu walked into the bathroom to take a shower. The bathtub, comparable in size to a swimming pool, almost made him reluctant to take off his pants. For some reason, bathing in such a large room made him feel uneasy. Could there be cameras installed somewhere? He thought somewhat shamelessly. Host, rest assured there is no surveillance equipment here. You can bathe with peace of mind. Zioya's voice came inappropriately in his ear. It was in sync with Fang Jueyu and could feel whatever crazy things he was thinking. If you don't speak, no one will take you for a mute, Fang Jueyu muttered. This was the most comfortable bath he had ever taken, and somehow, after bathing, he felt refreshed and alert, with his drowsiness significantly reduced. Host, The water contains a large amount of active minerals, which are somewhat similar to the components of hot springs and are greatly beneficial to the human body. Isn't that a bit too much? Fang Jueyu even felt it was rather wasteful. Being extravagant was one thing, but such unnecessary expenses were not just wasteful of money, but also of societal resources. I have to ask Sister Ying to get rid of these pointless things tomorrow, Fang Jueyu thought to himself. Just after his bath, the noodles he requested were delivered by a young guy who was the son of the head chef. Though young, he was hardworking and capable. Mr. Fang, your noodles. He handed over a container. It has an automatic warming feature, please enjoy. Thank you for your hard work. You should hurry back now, it's late. Fang Jueyu offered his thanks, taking the takeaway container back to his room. Is this what you call just throwing in a bit of seafood? Fang Jueyu was immediately overwhelmed when opening the delivery box. Noodles were noodles, greens were greens. He liked seafood noodles at home too, but usually it would include things like shrimp and scallops. But in this basin-sized noodle bowl was an emperor crab and an Australian lobster, plus a few abalones. Was this for real? Could the rice used in this dish have been watered with 82 lafite? Fang Jueyu whimsically thought. Don't care, eat first. He felt that after his physical condition improved, his appetite had also greatly increased. He might actually be able to finish this big bowl of noodles. Not only that, as expected from a top chef's creation, it was a very ordinary method, but the rich aroma wafting from the soup made it irresistible. He picked up his chopsticks and began wolfing down the noodles, finishing every drop of the soup. Burp tilde, Fang Jueyu let out a loud, satisfied belch, then picked up the Australian lobster's claw and used it to pick his teeth. If I keep this up, I'll quickly descend into decadence. It's 10 o'clock. Fang Jueyu looked at the time. The daily routine of watching Xinyu's live stream at 10 o'clock was already a habit he'd developed, and many times he fell asleep listening to her songs. A top-of-the-line computer was already set up in his master bedroom. He had no idea what kind of graphics card or central unit it used, but the speed at which it booted up was unprecedented, and if you were to use its smooth performance for gaming, it would surely be unbeatable. Sure enough, Xinyu had started her broadcast on time. Perhaps because of Fang Jueyu's influence, her followers had skyrocketed from 50,000 to 1.27 million, and her pure singing voice attracted many loyal fans. A warm welcome to Level 10 VIP user. Deep Wood Sees Deer joins Anchor Xinyu's live stream. Fang Jueyu's appearance instantly whipped the usually calm comment section into a frenzy. Here he comes, the boss deer is here again. Rich guy, do you need a lackey, the kind that can speak human? Ha, I knew boss deer would definitely come to Miss Xinyu's live stream today. Sat all night and really caught him. Boss deer's army is here to propose marriage. Copy this for 50 cents. What's with the above? 50 cents for boss deer's worth. It should at least be $5. Boss deer, are you doing a room check tonight? We'll follow you. Are you here? This mysterious tycoon not only threw down a cool million in gifts in her live stream, but also brought in a huge amount of popularity, which was enough to raise her income to the next level. Ha, are you waiting for me? Fang Jueyu wrote using the VIP font. 66,666, Boss Deer starts to flirt. Boss Deer, I'm your type, I'm 168 double E, I have everything you like. Sexy Boss Deer, flirting online. 555,555, my Xinyu will soon fall under the onslaught of Boss Deer, I need to be Jingjing. Hello, I am Jingjing, what do you want with me? Of course, you are a major gold sponsor, do you want to listen to any particular song? Gyu Xinyu joked, directly ignoring the playful comments. Just sing whatever you like as usual, I'll just listen quietly. Fang Jueyu lay down on the bed, closed his eyes, and began to relax to the sound of her music. Suddenly, he had a somewhat embarrassing thought. What kind of person was this Xinyu, really? He was already a room admin for Xinyu's stream and boldly sent her a direct message. Xinyu, can I have your contact information? After sending the message, Fang Jueyu suddenly felt a little embarrassed. It was his first time doing something like this, and it was more nerve-wracking than confessing his feelings. She won't think that I am trying to take advantage of her with my money, will she? Fang Jueyu fretted inwardly. Moments later, a reply from Xinyu arrived. Okay, my WeChat ID is XXXXXXXX, but don't get any funny ideas. Nice. Fang Jueyu snapped his fingers in excitement and immediately took out his phone to send a friend request. Whether it was the magic of Xinyu's singing, or he was just that tired, it wasn't long before Fang Jueyu fell into a deep sleep. Chapter 13, Enemies on a Narrow Road. Huh, is it morning already? Fang Jueyu groggily woke from his sleep and checked the time. It was already past 10 in the morning. He freshened up a bit, and then had to consider a very serious issue. What should he eat for lunch today? Having experienced last night's midnight snack, Fang Jueyu already knew the style of this group of chefs. No matter what he said he wanted to eat, they would definitely bring something astonishing. Uncle Wu, I'll handle lunch myself today. You guys don't need to fuss. Fang Jueyu instructed, referring to Uncle Wu, the head chef. If I want to eat something in the future, I'll let you know in advance. Okay, just tell me whatever you want to eat. Oh no, I accidentally slept in and forgot all about the important stuff. Fang Jueyu just then remembered that he had added Xinyu on WeChat last night, and he wasn't sure if his friend request had been accepted. He hurriedly took out his phone, and indeed, the friend verification had been approved, but the chat was blank, and Xinyu hadn't initiated any message to him. Sorry, I just moved yesterday and fell asleep listening to your singing. Didn't even greet you. Fang Jueyu hurriedly sent a message. Hahaha, don't worry, I know people like you, the tycoons, are very busy. It wasn't long before he received a reply from Xinyu, followed by a very cute emoji. By the way, Mr. Tycoon, where did you move to? I moved to Jiangnan City. Since the school is here, I plan to settle down here. School? Are you still a student? Xinyu sent an emoji with a black question mark. I thought you were some middle-aged man in his 40s or 50s. Haha, I'm only 20. I just finished summer and am starting my senior year at Jiangnan University. What a coincidence. I'm also going to university in Jiangnan City, but I'm at Jiangnan Music College, certainly not as scholarly as you. Actually, Gogh Xinyu was being modest. Jiangnan University was ranked third among comprehensive universities nationwide, and her Jiangnan Music College was only second to the Central Music Academy and Madu Music College. People are still guessing who you are. Some think you are a rich and uneducated second-generation heir. Others think you are a big corporate boss. It turns out you are also a student. That's just everyone guessing wildly. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes. Why does a rich second generation have to be uneducated? He was, after all, an outstanding university student excelling in moral, intellectual, physical, and aesthetic qualities. However, Mr. Tycoon, your family must be in business, right? Gogh Xinyu guessed he must be a young master from some major family. Otherwise, he wouldn't be spending millions on a live-streaming platform, which was almost considered an entertainment hobby. Yes, sort of. Oh, by the way, Xinyu, stop calling me a tycoon. My name is Fang Jueyu, just call me by my name from now on. Okay, then you shouldn't call me Xinyu either. My name is Gogh Xinyu, thanks for your help. Honestly, my family really needed that money. It was like getting help in the nick of time, Gogh Xinyu sincerely said. I'll definitely treat you to a meal sometime, just don't mind if the place isn't fancy. Ha, I definitely won't. If you choose somewhere too expensive, I might not even feel comfortable, Fang Jueyu replied. You might not believe it, but I also just found out the day before yesterday that I was this wealthy. Gogh Xinyu sent a mischievous emoji, clearly not believing Fang Jueyu's words. Don't tell me it's like what they say online. Your parents suddenly told you that they are actually billionaires. But what Gogh Xinyu couldn't imagine was that the meme she casually mentioned actually happened to Fang Jueyu, and his parents were not just billionaires, but had even disappeared to who knows where in the universe. The two had only just formally met and didn't have much to chat about, so after exchanging a few pleasantries, they said goodbye. Today, Fang Jueyu had an important task. Zhuang Ying had sent him a message saying that he needed to get some decent clothes, since all his current belongings combined were hardly worth 1,000 yuan. Originally, Fang Jueyu thought about finding a mall to buy a decent outfit, but Zhuang Ying told him he owned a private factory that tailored clothes specifically for Fang Jueyu and those serving him. Someone would come to measure him in the afternoon. Let's go out to eat first. Fang Jueyu casually put on some shorts and a t-shirt, grabbed his keys and left the house. There were many nice restaurants near the school. Some places were quite expensive, and he usually hesitated to go there, but now there was no reason to hold back. Driving out of the neighborhood and crossing a big street, he quickly arrived at his school gate. School had been out for several days, and apart from the unfortunate graduate students, there weren't many people left, making the usually bustling entrance look rather deserted. Fortunately, with fewer people, Fang Jueyu quickly found a parking spot. Just as he got out of his car, a familiar voice called out to him. Old Fang, a slightly chubby boy, caught up with him. It was his roommate Cheng Kai. Holy shit, it really is you. You seem taller and somewhat different. Did you get plastic surgery these past few days? I barely recognized you. Fuck off, man. Don't you know I'm still growing? Fang Jueyu knew his appearance had changed somewhat and joked around. Why haven't you gone home yet? My family wants me to apply for graduate school. If I were at home, I wouldn't concentrate on studying. It's more efficient to stay in the library here, Cheng Kai explained. What about you? I thought you went home. Why are you back? I moved recently to Jiangnan City. Fang Jueyu didn't know how to explain. Wow, keeping it low-key, huh? Housing prices in Jiangnan City have tripled over the past few years. Your family can still afford a house here. Impressive. Cheng Kai said enviously. Near Jiangnan University, the average housing price had risen above 60,000, and buying an ordinary house would cost a lifetime of effort for most people. Ha, let me tell you, my dad told me a few days ago that I'm actually a rich second generation. Fang Jueyu blurted out teasingly. Okay, I believe you. I'm tired of studying anyway. You're treating today's lunch. How about Bartolo? Holy shit, are you serious? Bartolo, fully known as Bartolo Spanish Art Restaurant, wasn't especially high-end, but its average consumption was over 300 per person. To get a decent meal, it would cost at least 500 per person, which was pretty extravagant for students. Cut the crap. For our 3 years as roommates, I ought to treat you to a good place, even if I have to sell my blood or whatever. Fang Jueyu joked. Damn, has this kid's family really struck it rich? Cheng Kai followed him, completely confused. But knowing Fang Jueyu, he wasn't the type to pretend to be richer than he was. Maybe Fang Jueyu had recently made some money from playing the stock market. Coincidentally, as they approached the restaurant, two people walked towards them, one of whom was his ex-girlfriend, Zhang Yuan, and naturally, the man she was arm-in-arm with was her new boyfriend, Wang Chuan. Fang Jueyu hadn't reacted yet, but Cheng Kai had already started sneering. Talk about a narrow road for enemies. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. Your taste is really not that great. Fang Jueyu really spoilt Zhang Yuan, and Cheng Kai, his roommate, knew it best. They were all just students, but Fang Jueyu had been working hard in his spare time to earn some money, and he had spent all of it on Zhang Yuan. Almost every week, he would prepare little surprises for Zhang Yuan. Lipstick, perfume, concert or concert tickets, etc. to take her to and from class. He even saved up money to buy an electric scooter, which was a substantial expense for a kid from an average family. The situation had escalated to this point, and Cheng Kai was even more furious than Fang Jueyu. As they approached, Zhang Yuan and Fang Jueyu's gazes inevitably met. How come he looked somewhat different? Having spent 2 years with Fang Jueyu, she could instantly see the obvious changes. He had not only grown taller but had even become more handsome. However, she was sure she hadn't mistaken him for someone else. Perhaps out of guilt, she immediately shifted her gaze away, while Fang Jueyu's eyes were still fixed on her. Wang Chuan didn't interact much with Fang Jueyu, but as Zhang Yuan's current boyfriend, he was naturally aware of her ex's existence. It almost seemed like he was provoking him when he eagerly wrapped Zhang Yuan in his arms and strutted into the restaurant. Hey, old Fang, still want to go? Cheng Kai hesitated some. Wang Chuan's wealth was something he'd heard of. Even though they were still students, Wang Chuan drove a different car to school every day and was known as a rich second generation. In a high-end restaurant like this, Wang Chuan might put them in an awkward position. Go, why not? What's there to be scared of? We're not the ones in the wrong, said Fang Jueyu, his tone light, but his expression was far from the calmness of the past. It's just a meal. What excessive thing could they possibly do? Welcome to Bartolo's Spanish Art Restaurant. How many? The restaurant was expensive for good reason, and a waiter greeted them as they stepped in. Oh, just the two of us, Fang Jueyu replied, glancing around the room. It seemed like an ordinary day and students were on break. Why was there not a single empty seat? Sorry, but we have a lot of customers today, so you might need to wait for a bit, the waiter said apologetically. No problem, we'll wait. Fang Jueyu wasn't in a rush. You're not in a hurry to get back to studying, are you? There are still several months left. Missing this little time wouldn't matter. Cheng Kai, having been accepted into Jiangnan University, was naturally a top student. Reviewing was just a process for him, and he was quite confident about the graduate entrance exam. That's good to hear. Fang Jueyu moved to the waiting area, choosing to sit right beside where Jiang Yuan and Wang Chuan were seated. "By the way, old Fang, where did you move to? I'd like to visit your place sometime," Cheng Kai said, starting a casual conversation to pass the time. "Oh, in Jiangnan Garden. If you find the school too noisy, you can stay at my place during the holidays. There's plenty of empty rooms and they're idle anyway. It's quieter too." "Haha, forget it. The library has a stronger academic atmosphere, but I wouldn't mind reviewing in my dormitory." Cheng Kai apparently wasn't aware that Jiangnan Garden was a neighborhood that only sold high-end villas. "Man, I can't control myself. If I'm not in the library, I'd either want to sleep or play games." "HMPH, don't hurt your back from making tall tales." Wang Chuan's unfriendly voice emerged at that moment. As the current boyfriend of his girlfriend, he was naturally full of hostility towards Fang Jueyu, the ex. Others might not have heard of Jiangnan Garden, but Wang Chuan had, and his own family lived there. He knew well that even the cheapest villa in that place would cost close to 20 million. He had heard about Fang Jueyu's situation from Jiang Yuan. He was just an average family kid, scrimping and working part-time to buy gifts for Jiang Yuan. How could such a family afford a house in this place? In Wang Chuan's mind, these two must have conspired to save face and were putting on a front here, right? "Yuan, I thought your ex-boyfriend was just poor, but it turns out his character is just as bad," Wang Chuan said loudly on purpose, drawing the attention of other patrons who were also waiting for a table. Some who knew about Jiangnan Garden immediately wore looks of disdain. Fang Jueyu was dressed in knockoff brands, not to mention owning a house in Jiangnan City. It would be difficult enough, and now young people are really vain. Becoming the focus of everyone's gaze, Fang Jueyu remained unfazed. His mental fortitude had improved immensely after the shock of the past few days. He's always been like this, pretending to be something he's not. Fang Jueyu hadn't expected that his best efforts to treat her well would be met with such comments. Was this what they meant by licking boots only to end up with nothing? "Hey buddy, just a heads up for Yuan's sake. It's better to keep your feet on the ground, stop daydreaming," Wang Chuan said arrogantly as if he were a victor. "Who are you to be my buddy? Are you worthy?" Fang Jueyu initially just wanted to have a quiet meal, but he could tolerate Jiang Yuan's words and Wang Chuan's provocation. The system, however, could not. A random task has now been issued. As the host of the system, how can you let someone provoke you like this? You must fight back fiercely. Task content: make this pair of dogs shut up completely. Task reward: a 2% increase in level 1 authority task completion, plus a random reward of garbage that the host's ancestors wouldn't want. Although he didn't know what this ancestral garbage was, Fang Jueyu knew from his experience with the system that it was only garbage to his ancestors. For him, it might be an unimaginable treasure. A person always has their pride, and if teased like this, he couldn't take it lying down, else he wouldn't be a real man. What did you say? When had Wang Chuan ever been talked down to like this? Didn't everyone who knew of his status grovel before him like a dog? How dare a poor kid from an average family speak to him like that? "I said, to be my buddy, you're not worthy." Fang Jueyu enunciated each word. "You're asking for it." Wang Chuan suddenly stood up from his seat. He was tall and looked much sturdier than Fang Jueyu, and he reached out for Fang Jueyu's collar. What he hadn't expected, however, was that a strong, muscular hand gripped his wrist. Wang Chuan wasn't weak, but he seemed quite feeble against Fang Jueyu's enhanced body. Slowly increasing his grip, Wang Chuan's face contorted with pain, but he endured it for the sake of his pride. "Hey, what are you doing? This is a public place looking for a fight." Cheng Kai immediately stepped in to separate the two. Fang Jueyu hadn't intended to start a fight here, and with a gentle shove, he pushed Wang Chuan back into his seat, then straightened his slightly disheveled collar. Wang Chuan glared at him with resentment and surreptitiously twisted his wrist. He had clearly suffered a setback. How could Fang Jueyu, who looked thin and frail, possess such strength? "HMPH, a low-class lout with no manners. Waiter, do you just let anyone in here?" Wang Chuan began to bluster, convinced that Fang Jueyu and company couldn't afford to eat here and were just here to make them sick. The restaurant manager, alerted by the commotion, rushed over, followed by 2 security guards. "Waiter, these 2 paupers are causing trouble here. Get the security to kick them out," Wang Chuan shamelessly commanded. Fang Jueyu glared at him with undisguised disgust on his face, then turned to Jiang Yuan beside him. "Jiang Yuan, I still have to say this, your taste really isn't that great."